I investigate.
Anything in particular?
The bank, Mr. Crown. The caper, sir. You don't expect us to take the loss of over $2 million lying down, do you?
Guys, welcome to a classic film review of 1968's The Thomas Crown Affair, starring Steve McQueen and Faye Dunaway. Now, this was directed by Norman Jewison, and it's a super slick romance heist thriller that sees McQueen's bored businessman orchestrating bank robberies basically just for the thrill of it, and the lovely but ruthless insurance investigator who's tasked with chasing him down. Now, this is probably one of the most stylish movies of the 60s, maybe any decade, that catches McQueen at the zenith of his star power and a breathtaking Faye Dunaway fresh off the previous year's Bonnie and Clyde. Now, this is a heist caper that's not so much about the heists as the post-caper chase, and as a movie from the radicalised 1960s, it makes high-scale criminal acts look like fun and games. It also features the sexiest game of chess in cinema history. Let's take a look. So 1968 was the year that delivered cinematic landmarks like 2001: A Space Odyssey, Once Upon a Time in the West, Night of the Living Dead, Planet of the Apes, but it also brought us Steve McQueen double bill that essentially splits the actor into his two component acting personalities. In Bullet, he is the cool, calculated man of action, but few words, and in The Thomas Crown Affair, he is the cool, calculating, Cheshire Cat grinning jokester. Now, this film has over the years been accused of being style over substance, which does have a little bit of truth to it, but I'd argue that the style is an essential part of the package here. When you have two leads as attractive and stylish as we do, you absolutely have to dress them up and film them like the whole thing's some kind of arty-farty commercial. And speaking of arty-farty, you can't mention The Thomas Crown Affair without mentioning its dizzying split-screen editing technique, masterminded by its director and the movie's 3 editors. Now, for the most part, it works having multiple angles of a robbery, for instance. That gives a cool touch, but sometimes it can be a little bit overdone. But besides that, how is it as an actual movie? And for me, it's great. The late 60s were a pivotal and quite serious time for cinema in general. So this little caper flick is a perfect palate cleanser to the seriousness of such films as Rosemary's Baby, The Boston Strangler, etc. This is a heist film where the heists are carried out not in desperation or revenge or anything as square as that, but out of sheer sport, really. McQueen's Thomas Crown seeing it as a game to combat his boredom and stick it to the system.
You're mad. Absolutely mad.
What else can we do on Sunday?
So after the successful heist of over $2 million, Thomas Crown flies to Switzerland and opens a secret bank account and makes the necessary arrangements. The idea of choosing a Swiss bank account, of course, is that they don't disclose information on who holds the account, but little does he know that the Boston police in charge of the investigation are getting help from the insurance investigator, here played by Faye Dunaway. This is Vicki Anderson, who here isn't just a love interest, but more than McQueen's equal, a lady who'll do anything to get her man and earn her 10% commission. And unfortunately for McQueen, she's far too good at her job. I love how she stalks him across polo matches and art galleries, making sure she catches his eye before they inevitably meet, the whole thing becoming a chess match to see who will outsmart the other.
Do you play?
Try me.
And the pair's verbal sparring, of course, leads to a love scene that's preceded by a game of literal chess, complete with close-ups of Faye Dunaway stroking the pieces, and, well, we can use our imaginations for the rest. It's stunningly shot, and the central set piece of the movie, despite its other thrills. Oh, quickly, before we go on, for enthusiasts of such things, the Thomas Crown Affair features one of the coolest cars of the 60s, the 1967 Ferrari 275 Spider that Faye Dunaway drives here, which Wikipedia tells me is only one of 10 ever produced. So The Thomas Crown Affair is a stylishly slick romantic thriller, and I think this is still sold as a Steve McQueen vehicle when it's clearly the Faye Dunaway show. She's a kick-ass female detective at a time when that was clearly a novelty, but Dunaway plays it so powerfully and so confidently that no one even dares throw a sexist remark her way.
You know what you are.
I know what I am. Don't put your labels on me, Eddie.
Now, McQueen's Thomas Crown is obviously so rich that he's no longer impressed by material possessions and needs the thrills. He needs to test himself against the law and eventually Dunaway's Vicki. I'm not sure if this is my favourite McQueen performance. There's an argument, surely. He's much more cerebral in Bullet, distant to the point of disinterest sometimes, which isn't a slight. I love the film and I love McQueen in it, but such is his straight-faced king of cool reputation. It's great seeing him let loose like this. Now, the Thomas Crown Affair's director, Norman Jewison, had worked with McQueen before, of course, on The Cincinnati Kid in '65 and was fresh off being Oscar nominated for In the Heat of the Night. Here, I think he's fully aware he has two Hollywood megastars in their ascendancy and fills his 1 hour and 40-minute runtime with inventive shots and innuendo-fueled dialogue. Lifestyles of the rich and famous, if the rich and famous were criminal masterminds.
You have any idea how much they're costing you? Those characters that follow us around?
Following you is following me. I don't like it any more than you do.
But they work for you.
Now, the movie also offered an Oscar-winning song by Michael Legrand, Windmills of Your Mind, and look out for supporting work from Paul Burke, Astrid Heron, and the great Yaphet Kotto. And of course, the film was remade in 1999 by John McTiernan with Pierce Brosnan and Rene Russo in the leads. And I remember that being one of the first DVDs that I ever bought. Seems like forever ago now. And I think that film's reputation's only grown over the years. I do enjoy it, but as I usually find, this movie has that charm and cheekiness that's pretty difficult to replicate.
You do live very well, don't you?
No complaints.
It'd be a shame to have to give all this up. Wouldn't it?
So honestly, don't pay too much mind to reviews that cite this as just empty entertainment. I did read a review of this recently that claimed this and said, and I'll quote, "It's all about the photography, the affluent style, the unconcerned attitude." Hell yeah, it is. Go check it out.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.
Say goodnight to Irwin, dear.
Good night, Erwin, dear.
Good night, Irwin, dear. That's good.